I sincerely hope that all of you know that this is fake CGI, that's computer generated images. If you don't know that this is fake, then it's a miracle that you even know how to breathe. I'm going to narrate this just in case you can't read or recognize shapes and colors. Let's talk about real rocket launches for a second. Real rocket launches always perform what's called a parabolic curve. They never go straight up. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because they don't go into space. Okay? Propulsion does not work in a vacuum. You need some kind of medium, like air, water, land, something for the gas or fuel or whatever is burning to push off of. Any kind of propulsion in this fictional environment called space isn't going anywhere. It's like trying to push a boulder while barefoot standing on ice. I think Newton's third law goes something like this. Don't quote me on this, but it's force A acts on object B to get reaction C. B, of course, in this instance would be air. As a rocket is burning through air, it'll work. It'll work that way. The same way a propeller plane works, the same way when a bird flaps its wings, the same way that you're able to swim in water. Water is just another medium. And the same way we can crudely swim through water, birds can fly through air. Now, some of you are going to argue that force A and object B are within the rocket, but it doesn't work that way. Object B has to be outside of the actual rocket. Both phenomena can't be enclosed in one object. Force A has to act on something outside of it. That argument is analogous to a hamster on a wheel inside this rocket. It's not going anywhere. Another argument I hear a lot is what if you fire a gun in space? Is the bullet going to go anywhere? Well, I'm going to speculate yes, because there is no space and I can't actually perform this experiment. But, like I said, force A has to act on object B. Force A being the bullet or the gunpowder exploding within the barrel is object B. Thinking it through with logic, if the gun is anchored down, yes, the bullet will move forward. But let's not get confused. In this analogy, the gun is the actual rocket. The gun projects the bullet, the rocket projects the fuel. Simple enough? Okay, moving on. Let's forget about this thought experiment for a second. Every fighter jet has what's called a sky ceiling. Why do you think it has a sky ceiling? Fighter jets operate under the same laws of physics as rockets do, only they're more controllable. Yet they can't pierce what they call our atmosphere for the same reasons that rockets can't. The air gets thinner. There's nothing to push off against. There is no object B, or not enough of it anyway. That's why they stall out. That's why World War I propeller planes stalled out, and that's why these new age jets stall out the same way. So I hate to shatter your dreams. All you kids out there pursuing degrees in aerospace, just stop and change it to aeronautics. It's not a problem. Just go to the dean's office, a couple of clicks on the computer, whatever you have to do. It's just a small modification in your life. That's all it is. Don't cry about it. We're not going to Mars. Mars is nothing but a wandering star. It's been called that for thousands of years for the simple fact that it does not move in accordance with the majority of the rest of the stars. That simple. Look at it. It glows like a star. It flickers like a star. If it walks like a duck, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. If you don't believe me, check out Russian Vid's recording of Venus. Alright, these things are not solid. You can't land on them. They are not terra firma. Get a telescope and look for yourself. If they try to go to Mars, most likely it's going to be a group of actors on some stupid island having a good old time. It's going to be a reality show. Haven't you noticed how gradually they keep making Mars more Earth-like? Oh, we found water. Oh, we found this. Oh, we found that. Before you know it, Mars is going to be a freaking jungle. But anyway, I digress. This whole entire thing is CGI. There's no real footage of this thing actually entering Mars' atmosphere. And what was that two-stage release contraption? The last few times they did it, they just used parachutes. Now apparently the atmosphere is too thin and they got to think of something more expensive to do. So let's build a bullshit contraption called the Sky Crane. It doesn't work in any of the test footage, but hey, they're never going to see that. Because we're going to show them CGI. Hooray for CGI. And let's not forget Photoshop. Photoshop is great for NASA. Put a red tint on anything, and there you have Mars. It's like Frank's hot sauce.
Frank's Red Hot sauce. I put that on everything.
And by the way, if Earth were truly a ball, we wouldn't have to get into a rocket and shoot straight up. All you'd have to do is get into an airplane and not course correct for the curvature. And there you have it. You'll end up in outer space. And why is there so much smoke billowing from these rockets? Every engineer understands that if there's smoke coming out of an engine or a rocket, then that means it's not burning fuel efficiently. That's a bad thing, but they do it for the theatrics. It looks cool. The only time you see smoke is when it's not even smoke. It's condensation and it's cold outside. Our launch pads are in Texas and Florida. How cold can it be?
National Association of Space Actors, enter stage right. What is it, The Office? Where's Steve Carell? Can somebody tell me why their computers are labeled? Do they not know where to sit? Do I really have to tell you that only a staged event would have props like that? Pan right and cue the suspenseful music. Dun 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 dun. Check out Mr. Potato Head trying to count. Worse than a B-rated actor. We need the Count from Sesame Street to take this guy to school.
Ah, that's one. One bat. Two bats. Three fabulous flyers.
No one is going to Mars. Their own engineers admit they can't get through the fake Van Allen belts. You know, the made-up radiation belts they talk about. You know, that big orange CGI donut that surrounds the Earth. I mean, nobody really knows why we can't leave this Earth. Some say it's the firmament. Others say our science is too primitive. I mean, I can't tell you what to believe, but being that NASA is nothing but a group of pathological liars, I'm not going to believe anything they say. I'm not going to believe in the Van Allen belt, nor anything else. And another thing that baffles me is why can't we see stars in any of the so-called real footage? I mean, we all know the ISS live feed is fake, but even in the amateur rocket launches, we can't see stars. I mean, why is that? Is it just simply a realm that we can't reach? They only come out at night? I really don't understand it. But they were smart enough to add stars into the CGI movie. But what's going on? Somebody tell me. Are the amateur rocket launches hoaxes as well? The only way to get down to the bottom of this is to do experiments yourself. Eventually, I'm going to do a real balloon launch with no GoPro cameras or fisheye lenses. I'm not going to set a date like Jaronism, but eventually I'll get it done. We need to stop speculating and start experimenting.